y'all, welcome to the quad workout. To start off, we basically just started off with some dynamic stretches. Um, I would suggest you look up the difference between dynamic stretching and static stretching, because most of us do static stretching where we hold positions for like 40 seconds or longer, and we think that it's going to help our fitness, but it's actually been proven to cause more injuries. So I would do some more research on that. I actually just learned that too. So quick dynamic stretches, dynamic warm-ups to get the muscles warmed up without putting tension on them. So you see me doing some hip swings here, a lot of hip opening movements, especially with quads. If you have really tight hips like me, you're really going to want to make sure your hips are open. And then I started with some stabilizing movements. So what I do here is I will do a single leg isometric hold, which is basically a single leg hip thrust, but you're holding it. Now that I'm looking at this video, it's hard to tell when your foot is like under your knee, but you want to make sure your foot is directly under your knee. If it's way too inward, you're going to feel the movement more in your quads. If it's way too out, you're going to feel it more in your hamstrings. So I hold these, I really thrust up. I try to make sure my core is engaged, and I use my other foot to stabilize the movement, pushing through the heel, really controlling the movement, focusing on controlling the movement. And this helps me feel way more stabilized in both legs when I do hip thrust. If you're trying to grow your damn glutes, you need to make sure you're tracking your progress, because there's nothing worse than not getting progress and you're kind of just going in, you're doing the same weight, you're going off the top of your head. Whether you're tracking in notes or in a notepad, you need to be tracking the weight that you're going every week so you make sure you're progressing. First workout is barbell hip thrust, baby. You want to make sure that you're pushing through the heel, that your knees are in line with your upper body. You don't want your upper body to be above or below your knees, if that makes sense. Basically, you don't want to be too high, you don't want to be too low. And then here I did about 4 sets of 12 to 15 reps. Alright, next movement we have here is a Romanian deadlift, or known as RDLs. So this is a hip hinge movement. What you're going to want to do is you're going to have you're holding the barbell. You want to slowly lower the weight, and I want you to think of a car door open behind you, and you're trying to push a car door shut with your butt. Or maybe there's a wall behind you and you're trying to touch the wall. The hamstring movement is felt more when you are pushing your hips back, and then you want to slightly bend your knees at the bottom to feel it in the glutes. So if you really want your booty to pop from down under, you need to build your hamstrings up. Your hamstrings, strong and bigger hamstrings are just naturally going to lift the booty if you're also training glutes. So what I'm doing here is heavier sets of lying hamstring curls. Push your quads and hips into the pad and curl upward. If you feel the pain in your calves, make sure that you're not too low on the bar. Okay, so I always have trouble naming this damn workout, but I'm going to call it 45-degree glute extensions. So it's kind of like a back extension, but to make it glute focused, you're going to want to, the main thing is going to be rounding your upper back. And what that means is you're basically going to like hunch over your upper back and create a rainbow. Now, you're going to want to make sure the pad is directly below your hips, toes pointed outward, and calves pushed into the pad. You're going to want to push into the pad like you're humping it on the way to the top, and keep the range of motion short. I'm holding a weight for 15 reps, dropping it, and doing 15 more with no weight, and that shit hurts. So we just finished our leg work, glute hamstring workout. It was really good. The only thing is I definitely felt the effects of lack of quality sleep. A lot of times people think, you know, I got 7 hours of sleep, why am I still tired? Well, the quantity of sleep is important, but also the quality of that sleep. So yesterday, yeah, we got 7 hours of sleep, but we woke up multiple times in the night. When we woke up at like 6:15, my man kept dragging me back into bed to go back to sleep and cuddle. So I told him, you know, like, we need to control that. Like, we need to not compromise our performance in the gym, our energy, because we want to cuddle. Okay, so he completely understood and he understands, and I'm not blaming it on him, but it's the reality of, you know, being in a relationship. Sometimes you just love each other so much you just want to cuddle and go back into bed, but I care too much about my performance and my goals to be doing that. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to get more groceries. You want to get groceries when you start to see that you're running out, not when you're run out, because then you're just going to start eating out, which I had to do yesterday and it really sucked. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to grab some stuff and watching some Christian Guzman. He's my favorite businessman, along with Heidi. Been watching him forever, but I got some fruits here, my Opti greens, and then I have just some egg whites with 2 whole eggs and some butter bread with spray butter. Usually I have something more extravagant, but I was just feeling simple today. And then I just always want to have some fruits on the side just to make it overall balanced, get some nutrients in. That's what I got. So how I meal prep my chicken is I'll always get chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breast, is the leanest. And then I get a meat tenderizer. And so the chicken will look like this at first. And in order to make sure that it cooks evenly, I beat it down. Okay, you can like switch sides and stuff. And what that does is it evens out the surface, it flattens it out. I season with sazon. And then I use 2 pans to save time. I always cook with spray oil because it has 0 calories, just because of the way that it's expelled, and other oil, like physical, like corn oil, has like a lot more calories. I'll put the heat on like medium high-ish, 5 minutes each side, and you're golden.
Pen and paper you need? Is it a camera? Maybe it doesn't have to be a 1DX with a crazy lens that it might. Maybe it's a pocket out everything enough. Stay up those nights.
So if you're trying, my goal right now is to grow my glutes, my lower body, to get my body maintaining weight on higher calories. And how you can do that is by reverse dieting. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. Well, I started doing that a long time ago at the end of my cut. You don't want to just cut and then just like go back to your old ways. And like a lot of people think that once they lose the fat, like they can just go back to living their life however, and like they're not gonna gain the weight back. Those habits got you to that physique and they will get you back to that physique. That's why with a lot of my clients and what I preach on social media is changing your habits, your limiting beliefs, your behaviors, because that's what's gonna help you maintain those results for the long term. It's hard, it takes longer, but you keep the results. It's an investment. It's not like a, you know, get X quick. Anybody can lose weight. It's keeping it off that, you know, you really wanna do. For me, I'm done cutting. I want to gain weight. I want to gain muscle in my lower body. So a lot of people think that when you're bulking, you just need to put on a bunch of body fat, and 1 pound of body fat will never equal 1 pound of muscle. There are 2 different like tissues in the body, and like they'll never just converts to that, or it doesn't mean that just because you weigh more in the fat range that you're gonna gain more muscle. So I've been eating about like 2250 to like 2500 calories, sometimes 3000 on the weekends, and then like I'll balance it out, but it's been working really well for me, and I can't wait to show you guys my progress. And the waist is still intact, low key. So how I do that is by raising my calories slowly, eating nutrient-dense foods. I drink alcohol like once a month, and if I do, it's like for 2 days in a row, and then like that's it until like next month. So I really manage that. I drink my water, I train hard. So